Wherever you're watching from East Africa and around the world, this is Citizen News at 1. It's the 11th of December. Tomorrow is a big day, but of course the celebrations begin today. And today we'll be focusing at Uhuru Gardens. This is where now the first flag, our flag back in 1963, it was actually hoisted for the first time by the then President Jomo Kenyatta, and the same exercise will be done at Uhuru Gardens. Now we have our reporters on the ground, and of course if you're at home and you can make it to Uhuru Gardens, please do so, because that's where the focus, the attention will be there up to midnight. And then now tomorrow we will head to Moi Sports Center, Kasarani, now to of course witness the official celebrations. Kenya at 50. I know celebrations are across the world, I beg your pardon, across the country, but even in the world, Kenyans in the diaspora are also meeting in different places to just celebrate this particular day. But today, even here on Citizen Television, we'll be giving you live coverage of what will be happening at Uhuru Gardens, so you don't want to miss it. But in the meantime, of course, we want to look at other stories. We'll be revisiting Kenya at 50 celebrations as we continue on. But there's a problem. Yes, we're preparing for the celebrations. There's a problem. The nationwide health workers' strike has entered its second day, with hundreds of patients across the country being turned away at public hospitals, with many more stranded with no one to attend to them. It's a situation that has seen provision of health services paralyzed.
It is the ripple effect of the ongoing strike that is most alarming, as health workers down their tools for the second day running, paralyzing medical services across the country to push for the reversal of the decision to devolve health services to the counties. Efforts by the government to broker a return to work formula appears to have failed, with the health workers refusing to settle for anything short of their demands.
We stand to lose the certainty of our jobs. Number two, we stand to gain domination and interference by political operatives, and it's already happening.
Such are the concerns of health workers across the country, concerns they say the government has continued to turn a blind eye to. The existing stalemate now, however, further causing uncertainty in the public health sector.
Hii serikali lazima kana wadaktari waongee, walitengeneze maneno yao, kwa maana watu wanaumia.
The situation is very unfortunate, and we really regret that our people have to undergo all this. However, as a county, we've been able to mitigate. The county hospital is operating. We are offering emergency services and essential services like this one on ARVs. They are able to get their treatment, the ones on TB.
A looming deterioration in the medical sector, what would see many more patients suffer. Salim Bilu, Citizen at 1.
Many thanks, Salim Bilu, for that report. In fact, there was a placard reading Kenya sick at 50. Those are the health workers. We want to find out what you think about this whole deal, and we're asking you here, should the government give in to the demands of health workers? They want their services not devolved as per now, until there is legislation and of course policy to give it a safe landing, so to speak. So we are asking you this afternoon, should the government give in to the demands of health workers so that we avert the strike? You can send in your comments. The number is 22422. That's 22422. You can also of course include your name and location, and after your yes or no response, please add a statement or two, and we'll appreciate sampling some of them. In the meantime, let's move on to another story, focusing on the celebrations, of course. The face and size of the Kenyan shilling has mutated over the years, but as many older Kenyans will remember, the Kenyan shilling has seen better times, with its golden moments in the early years of independence. For instance, a loaf of bread that now costs 50 shillings used to cost 50 cents. Now, in our continuing Kenya at 50 series, Alex Chamwada sought expert view on the gradual decline in the value of the Kenyan shilling and how this affects you and I.
It is a gloomy 50-year journey of Kenya's currency.
This is the Kenyan currency notes of.
First, in breaking down the value of Kenya's shilling, I begin by looking at how the face of that currency has changed in the last 50 years. I meet a currency collector by the name Asgarali Kasam in Nairobi, who has archived every single coin and note in Kenya's history, but I choose to pick up the journey from 1963. By 1963, Kenya, under the colonial rule, was using the East African currency with the picture of the Queen. After independence in 1964, the currency was still the same, only that the picture of the Queen had been removed.
In 66.
Kenya's first independence currency was printed in 1966 under first black governor Duncan Ndegwa.
1980, we had first currency of Moi. Introduced in 1986.
The 200 shillings?
Yeah, the first time in Kenya.
The Moi one, okay.
Yeah. And then we had another currency, the 500 shillings. It came in 1988.
It was called Jirongo.
It is called Jirongo, the bigger size of the note. And up to 1995. Then we came to 1,000, which came in 1994. The first time 1,000 note was introduced in 1994.
Economists say it is during former President Daniel Arap Moi's era that the shilling took a beating, so to speak, because of corruption and the releasing of unsupported money into the economy, a factor that caused inflation.
Ndururu.
Yeah.
Ndururu was...
All this one. All this.
Ndururu.
5 cents.
5 cents.
Yeah, this one. This one.
So, what could you buy with 5 cents, Ndururu, at independence?
After independence, maybe...
Sweets?
You can get a chocolate. You can get a chocolate.
A chocolate with Ndururu.
Yeah.
And to break it down further in a layman language, I spent time in Nairobi's Kawangware slums with economist Karithi Murimi comparing prices of various commodities over the last 50 years.
Tatu shilingi kumi,
Okay.
Yeah, and this now in 1963, this would be the dururu, the kafai. Yeah, the
63 with Ndururu you
get 3 nyanyas.
Sukuma wiki.
So this one would be the hera, the cent, 1,000 times increase.
Tununulie mama.
Yeah. Yeah.
So hapa tumetumia shilingi 20.
Yeah. Yeah, for these two.
Yani 1 bob ni onion moja. Onion moja, 1 bob. You can see that.
Yes,
1 shilling.
Yeah. Yeah.
1
now,
onion.
in 1863,
yes,
1 shilling would buy you a whole bread. The 1 shilling would be able to take you to a distance of almost 50 kilometers. Because remember, we were paying that cents to travel in Nairobi. In those, the madiri, what we call now the matatos, is because of that cents. So the shilling that time was that weighted.
The value of the Kenyan shilling has come down 7 times as compared to the British sterling pound since independence. This is 50.
So now, this is actually now a very good demonstration that Kenya at 50 has moved from 1 bob in 63 to 50 shillings 50 years down the line for only bread. Yeah. In terms of the 50 years, from an economic analysis, we have not grown. What we have done is we have developed what we would call the foundation. But now we need to start what we would call the growth phase, so that we then realize our original dreams. When you come to the shilling buying retro in terms of the amount of money, it means the various goods, like these clothes we are now seeing around, which are coming from outside, it means we are paying more shillings to be able to bring them. So when you come to selling, you are selling at a higher price. So that is how inflation then is created.
Alex Chamwada for Kenya at 50 series.
Hey, Alex Chamwada, thank you so much for taking us through that particular journey. You know, I remember them days using that penny we would buy a piece of chips, not the whole chips, a piece of chips for 1 penny. You get your 1 piece of chips. Now, I'm not 50, but at least I had an opportunity to touch those coins. But thank you so much indeed. We're still celebrating Kenya at 50. And remember, in a couple of minutes, we'll be talking to our very own reporter, Evelyn Wambui, who is at Uhuru Gardens. This is going to be a big place today because we're going to see what happened back in 1963 being repeated today. How do you like that? You don't want to miss that. So we'll be talking to her any minute from now. But in the meantime, just taking you through what really happened 50 years now. Now, William Olendimama's political career straddles nearly the 50 years of Kenya's independence. Now, Ndimama has many admirers as an apologetic crusader of the Maasai land rights. But critics of the former powerful cabinet minister accuse him of inciting ethnic hatred in his native Narok County. He now says he retired from politics, but salutes those who fought for independence and other freedoms in Kenya. And Mawathe with that report.
He doesn't know his exact age, but estimates that he might have been born between 1920 and 1930.
As you know, I'm not very young, but I'm not very old either. 1929-30 I was born. Yeah. Either between there, no, well, my father didn't know the dead, my mother didn't know anything.
Years have naturally weakened his bones, but his wit, his fighting spirit, his might remain intact. His retirement days are mostly spent at his Narok home, where he whiles away the time in his farm.
A good farmer will, in this area, will always succeed and will definitely make money. So I'm back there, but I keep my ears open for anything that I think is not right in the area, and I open up my mouth.
Ndimama was the chairman of the powerful Narok County Council for 15 years. He would later become the MP for Narok North constituency for 25 years. He was a politician at a time when dissenting views were not taken kindly.
I have not crowned myself, but some people keep on the periphery, you know, saying that I'm a leader here. But, you know, some young people are like it is everywhere, you know, challenging and so on. But I feel that I am in front and I have to lead all these 40 years. I have always felt, because you must know that if you are ahead, then you have a responsibility to lead.